Hey friends, welcome to day 10 of 30 Days to Change. How's it going so far? Yesterday we talked about such an important principle of emotional self-care and regulating the conversation you have with yourself. Today we're going to go one step deeper and actually to the core of who we are. This is going to be the last lesson that we have kind of focusing inward. Because before you can really focus on changing your outside world, you have to change your inside world. You know what I mean? So today's concept idea is, what do you say about yourself? Who do you say that you are? And what came to me for this topic is the idea that when we fail, when we have problems, when we have frustrations, a lot of times these thoughts come up, you know, in terms of like, oh, you're always screwing things up, you're so dumb, nobody likes you, all these sorts of negative things. And we have to cut those out for sure. But even one level below that is this idea of who we fundamentally believe that we are. There's this story in the Bible, Jesus, there was a lot of people were talking about who Jesus was. Some people were speculating he's a prophet, oh, he's crazy, whatever. And Jesus turned and he looked to his disciples and he says, but who do you say that I am? And just called them on the carpet. I mean, just called them out, you know, like, what do you say right now, right here? What do you say about me? And I was thinking about that story and how profound it is, because I feel like we need to ask ourselves that every single day. But who do I say that I am? Who do you say that you are? Because the answer to that question will determine the entire outcome of your life. The guy that introduced this topic to me, his name was Maxwell Maltz. He has a crazy background. He actually started out as a plastic surgeon in the 40s and 50s. I mean, pretty rudimentary to say the least. And he would receive patients that had all these deformities. People that were in car crashes, people that were born with like abnormalities on their face or whatever. And it would be a big distraction for their life. They would really be very self-conscious and self-aware of these deformities. And so he would take in these patients and he would cure them. He would remove the malady or whatever. And their lives would be, most of their lives would be radically changed. But there was this percentage, I don't know the actual percentage, of people that would have this incredible deformity removed, completely gone on their face. Like, they would go to their family and their family would be crying tears of joy, you know, because something that was on their physical face was removed and they looked beautiful or they looked normal or whatever. And the patient themselves in this minority would look in the mirror and they wouldn't see any change. They would literally see themselves like nothing happened. And it was so shocking to Dr. Maltz. And so he started exploring this. And he came up with the idea that we will never live above the idea that we have about ourselves. Remember this whole idea that our thoughts are like seeds and that our brain is like a computer program that's neutral, and whatever we give it, it's gonna kind of create in our lives? It's the exact same thing. Except this is who we say we are about ourselves. It's who we define ourselves, how we define ourselves. And so for today's activity, what I really want to encourage you is write down in a sentence, who are you? Who are you? Like, I am, it'll usually start with an I am statement. I am successful, smart, I am an overcomer, I persist, I work hard. Whatever, however you define yourself, and is obvious of utmost importance, but a lot of times we don't realize how we define ourselves. And so we have to write it out and we have to tell ourselves how we define ourselves, you know, rather than just letting say la vie, whatever will be, right? Que sera, sera. And so, so this is for today's activity. If you still have your journal and notepad, I just want to ask you, who are you? Because the world will try to define you. Your friends will try to define you. Your family will try to define you. Your teachers and your coworkers and your boss will try to define you. But they will only succeed if you let them. And most of their intentions are not the best. So you need to take control of your own life and say, who do you say that you are? Who do I say that I am? And write out on a piece of paper. It's more than a mission statement. It's a statement of who you are at your core, at the core of your being. And it's It's such a powerful idea, guys. And so I just, and this is why you hear so many examples of like people who have lost 100 or 200 pounds, you know, and have overcome drug addictions and have done these incredible things in life, but later in life they end up falling back. It goes back to this concept of Dr. Maltz that like they never changed their identity in their mind. That's why when you have people struggling with anorexia, they are so skinny. They're like 100 pounds and they look, it breaks your heart to see them, and they still see themselves as fat. And that's the power of your mind and what you tell it, you know, in your inner dialogue. And so I just want to encourage you guys to be so conscious of that. Who are you? Write it down on paper, challenge yourself. Anytime you have thoughts that come against that, come against them and say, no, this is who I am. And so that's today's video. Tomorrow we start talking about lots of cool stuff, but it's all external. It's going to be about resources. It's going to be, we have time, money, relationships, and how to manage and steward these relationships or these resources well. So super excited. Hope you'll join me. Hope you're doing well. Have a great rest of your day, and thanks for watching.